Good morning, everyone. Good Tavach. We had the Mishnah Masechet Beitza at the Mishnah on Daf Lamed Beis Amud Beis. Ein Shoivin Esacheres. Talk the Mishnah. The second wide line on the Amud Daf Lamed Beis Amud Beis. Ein Shoivin Esacheres ve'in choitchin hanil litlois boi meliach. It means when they would come and want to roast, right? Ala askelo. Askelo is, as you remember from the Gemara from Mishnah, really, as Rashi says, "Kshetzoynin dogin ala askelo shekorin gardlia." That means a grill, right? Grill. It's like basically it's a kli. It's a kli that's made of metal and it has in it holes. They want to roast, they put that on the fire, and remember for the Mishnah in Psochim, Leichutz Leilon Usapesach ala Askelo, what Rav Gamliel says. So it says Rashi, Shetzoinin dogim ala Askelo, shekoin gardlia, belaz, choitchin konim oikash shibolim, oy shoivrin charosim oy choitchin niar, v'shoirim b'mayim, v'soidrin anir al gava Askelo, v'isha amateches, mischan v'soiv sadag. It means it's too hot. Sometimes the metal is too hot. This grill is too hot. So what they do is they put the cheres, this clay, or the niar, is a paper, papyrus. They put it, they sink it in water. And when it's soaked in water, so it doesn't burn. And they put it on the askala, and that reduces the heat. That you don't want to have it too hot because the fish is going to dry out if you do it too hot. And that's the way they roast the meliach. Meliach means a dag meliach. A dag meliach. So we can see in the Gemara why you're allowed to come and why you're not allowed to come and to break on Yom Tov the cheres or to come and to cut the paper for this purpose. It's oichel nefesh. Why should it be also? And we can see in the Gemara. So the Mishnah weiter. Ve'en golfin tanu v'kiraim. Tanu v'kiraim we learned it already beforehand, that if tanu v'kiraim, tanu is an oven, kiraim is a kiro. We learned Masechet Shabbos. It's just like a stove, but you have two places to put the pot. And there's over there the tiach, what fell inside, right? Fell inside over there, the tiach. And you want to come and to remove the tiach, what fell inside, the plaster, what fell inside from the tanur or the kiraim. That's also why, because it's betak and kli. So Rashi, ein goyfin tanur v'kiraim, unofal etoichem min atofel ve'atiach, ein goyfin, so you don't remove it. The metaken mono ve'asi. Kirabonon de'avim machshir nefesh asire. Yeah, this is what we learned earlier. About last week, you know, the Daf and Machshir Oichel Nefesh, it's not Oichel Nefesh. It's Machshir Oichel Nefesh to fix the Tanu, like fixing the Tanu for Oichel Nefesh. So Rashi comes and tells us something very interesting. Rashi tells us that our Mishnah goes like Fira Bonon, who say that Machshir Oichel Nefesh is also on Yom Tov. Now the Shulchan Aruch says a different reason why there is the Isur Grife, why there's a Isur to come to remove the Tiach. Says the Shulchan Aruch, mipnei shemetaltel sheloi letzoirech. Mipnei shemetaltel sheloi letzoirech. And the Mishnah explains because this is muktzeh. That means the tiach itself is muktzeh. You can't do it with anything. It's not roi for anything. It's not, and it's muktzeh because it's not roi for anything. It's muktzeh, and that's what the Shulchan Aruch means when you shouldn't do the grifa. Just to mention what Shulchan Aruch brings a little bit different than Rashi. Talk the Mishnah weiter. Let's go back to the Mishnah. Avol mechabshin. You're allowed to come and to smooth the soil and the afer, the ash in the tanur. That they shouldn't be basically in the tanur. There's ash. There's a bit of offal, right? The tanur is on the ground. But now you don't want it to be of the heaps of afer of ash. Why? Because they're going to come and touch the bread. The bread was stuck, right? We call lirdois minatano. That means they used to come and stick it to the walls, to the doifenatano, like they used to do outside Musayov. If you remember once in the Schlein, like they stick it to the side. Now, if you have over there like lots of ash, what's going to happen? It's going to touch the pas. So that says the Mishnah mechabshin. Says Rashi, mashkivin esaifa va'afol sheyei cholok, should be smooth. Mashpilo yu mashveyu shelo iga bepashem udbokim edafnoiso ve'israfu mechabshin parmirveye. And that this mutar to come to do. And the Shulchan Aruch that mutar lehashkiv or eish or efer sham right? Over there, inside the tunnel, it should be smooth and it shouldn't touch the pass at all, even though that if it's going to touch the pass, it's not going to really burn it, right? Because if it's going to come and actually burn the pass, says the Mishabur, then afilu grifa stit is going to be mutar, as we're going to see later on in the Gemara. Says the Mishnah Beitza, a third din, ve'ein makifin shtei chaviyos lishpois alei nesagdeiro. A person, he wants to cook, he doesn't have where to put say what he's going to do. He's going to bring over there 2 barrels, and he puts them one next to the other one, a little bit of a gap in between, and he puts the fire in between, and now he's right. Basically, he's putting the pot, the kedero, he's putting on the 2 chaviyos. You shouldn't do it. Why? This is isur midrabanan. Why Rabbanon answered it? Because it looks like the chaviyos and the kedero, the barrels and the pot. It looks like that a mechitza and a gag. It looks like a mechitza and a gag. So it's doime to a binyan. It's doime to a binyan when he's doing that. It's a isur de Rabbanon. So Rashi, makifin, makrivin zu etzel zu, makifin bereya, ukemoi litroim shaloi min hamukev. Ainu samuch ukemoi makefes vekoro lo shem. That means to bring one next to the other one is a lashon hakofe. Bringing 2 barrels, one next to the other, that's called the hakofe. Lishpo yisalei gedera, ve'oru, the fire, bein shtei chaviyos. That's going to be also the common to do. Lishpois loishiv kol hishovas gedero al kol shvise. Lishpois means to put the pot on the fire. She'ein lo ikli ba'al shekoyin tarpid, or she'ein lo ikiro shecheres chalulo ve'osa lo mishum. The domi lebinyan umidarabono mishum the michze ke'ol. It looks like a binyan by building over there 2 barrels and a pot above. Long the Mishnah Beitza. Ve'ein a 4th din. Ve'ein soimchin es hakdeiro bebkas. A bkas is a log of wood, and the reason is because the wood over there, the way to use it, but the klal is to use it the davar also, the bkas. For example, the bkas, but what do you do with a bkas, a log of wood? They do from it kalim, all kinds of kalim of right, wooden kalim. So you shouldn't be, the chachamim will not matter to carry it to come to do tiltul le hasoke. And this we're going to see. Rashi tells us later on, and that given on the base, we're going to see what Rashi says. Dr. Rashi now, Dr. Rashi in the Mishnah, vein soich geder bebkas kosoval, v'yiditnu eitzim elo lehasoke, elefikach mukzinein eitzel kol tashmish. Because this is made for, as we mentioned for Rashi and given on the base, this is made for lasos mehem kelim, and not for eitzim lehasoke for burning. V'chein, log the Mishnah weiter, v'chein bedeles. What means v'chein bedeles? So the Gemara is going to explain it, as Rashi says. Hashte masha v'chein ein soich geder bedeles. So the Gemara is going to explain what it means. Log the Mishnah weiter, a 5th din, and the last din of the Mishnah. V'ein manhigin es habeima b'makel b'yomtev. Means you don't take the beima in Reshus HaRabim. Yeah, it's talking about Reshus HaRabim, as Rashi says. Rab Lozav Rab Shimon Matir. So Rashi, v'ein manhigin es habeima b'makel b'Reshus HaRabim. Why? Ashtek osal kedai toch mishum de'ein mishtamshim be'etzim shelo yinasu kli me'erev yontev de'lo yinitnu elo le'hasoke. The Gemara is now understand that it's not a problem the Baal Chai. The problem is because the hanhoger of a be'ema, how are you leading the be'ema? You have a stick in your hand, and that is the problem. Coming and holding the stick in the hand, that is the problem.
Isn't it pshat here that it's a eitz which lemaisa oimed le'hasoke, and he decided to use it for something else? And so it's like yesterday. It's like a sakin. It's mutter to use it like it's not muktzeh, but as soon as you use it for something else, it becomes muktzeh. Like with a sakin. You use it for bread, but as soon as you want... So it's not the which is...
Let's wait for the Gemara. Let's wait for the Gemara. Log the Gemara. Log the Gemara. So as we saw in the beginning of the Mishnah, that ein shovin es acheres, ve'ein choitchin es anir, litzlo isboi maliach. Says the Gemara. My time. What's the reason you shouldn't do so? What's the reason? So the Gemara comes to tell us the reason. It says the Gemara, mishum de kometaken mone. Anything what's done for using for a certain purpose, it's called now a kli. And this is metaken mone, and that's the reason it's also. So what we see over here, that tikun mone. Now the Rambam, as I pass in the Rambam Mechet in Perek Chov Gimel, Aloch Evov, yeah, and Ilchoi Shabbos, the Shechonot and Simen Shin Mem Tziv Gimel, And the Rambam just has a little bit of slightly different lashon. The Rambam says metaken. That's the lashon of Rambam. So basically, what we see over here, metaken mona. Now, what's schwer over here? What's the reason the person when he's coming ein choyd chinesaniyot? So what we said, what's the reason ein choyd chinesaniyot? Metaken mona. Why there's no reason of koireya? Taking a paper, schneitos. What are you doing over here? It's koireya. Why shouldn't be over a reason of koireya? And even more, the Rambam was just mentioned that there's over here only a Isa de Rabbanon of Mechzeke Metaken, not really Metaken, just a Mechzeke Metaken. So why we didn't ask them Midoi Raisa? We come to Isa de Rabbanon of Mechzeke Metaken. Then Isa de Raisa of Koirea. Oh, so very good.
It's a Mekalkel,
So,
no?
in order to understand this, 1 second, in order to understand this, we're just going to bring a small example what we all remember. I'm sure we all remember from a Mishnah and Shabbos, right? The Mishnah and Shabbos, very good. Shabbos daf ayin gimel. The Mishnah says over there, "Akoireya al menas litfoil." Koireya al menas litfoil chayev. What do we see from there? And if he was koireya shelo al menas litfoil, he's potul. Now, there is a suffix over here in this. What's the reason we need koireya al menas litfoil? What's the al menas litfoil over here? Is it because if he's koireya shelo al menas litfoil is a mekalkel, and as we know, the klal kol mekalkel ipturim, also the mekalkel. It's called mekalkel ipturim, or maybe meikar adin mitzad the meleches koireya. You need to come and to have a kriya al menas litfoil. I mean, that is the meleches koireya. Meleches koireya is because all the melachas what we know is dumye the meleches amishkon. So it's over here. The meleches koireya is dumye the meleches amishkon, and if he came and he done koireya shelo not the heftzeh from the melacha is this melacha is nishto. What's going to be nafkamin? The nafkamin is going to be what's the din when he came and he done the kriya shelo not litful. If the kriya itself that is the tikkun, so if he's going to be chayev, or we're going to say no, maybe over here so he could come and say it's a mekalkel, right? The kriya itself is a tikkun, even though it's not amenas litful. But if we're going to come and say that there's a din of an amenas litful, so then it's going to be potul. Cool. Okay, could be a thing. So these things what we're just speaking now is mefurish in the Rishonim. The Rambam in Nichoy Shabbos, Perek Yud Halacha Yud Aleph, the Rambam says that if someone is mefarek, he talks about mefarek niyori dvukim. He comes and he takes over there papers that are stuck, or even he talks about over there leather, oiro is dvukim, leather that's again it's stuck, and his kavon is only to be mekalkan. Yeah, that's what the Rambam says. So this is a tolda of koireya, and he's going to be chayev. That's like the Rambam. The Rambam says if a person has 2 papers and he comes and he separates them, or he has 2 pieces of leather and he separates them, and he didn't have only a kavanah to be mekalkel, yeah, even though he's mekalkel, he didn't have only a kavanah to be mekalkel, he's going to be chayev because of koireya. Yeah, as I pass with la alocha, and the Shulchan Aruch and Simon Mem, Sif Yudaled, pass as la alocha, and what we see over here. So the Bir Alocha actually, the Bir Alocha brings it from the Lashon Rambam. He says that you see that anything that in the kriya there's no kilkul, is going to be chayav. Even though there's no kriya minas litfal, yeah. Even there isn't the kriya minas litfal. As I talk the Rambam. Now, where do we see else? We see it also. There's an angry or take the Gemara in Shabbos Memches, or probably more thing Makis Daf Gimel on base, right? Koireya b'Yisatzavo. Koireya b'Yisatzavo Shabbos, right? It's lo minas litfal. And the Gemara says it's chayav. What's the reason it's chayav? So Rav Rishon you say it's makir patish, but the Rambam actually in Shabbos of there in Perek Yud in Halacha Yud he says that he brings this din of koireya b'Yisatzavo, he brings the rest of the dinim of koireya. And the Achronim say over there that's mashma from the Rambam that this is a koireya, it's not the makir patish. Mitzad all the Rishonim say that the meleches koireya is going to be dafkal minas litfol, not the thing. So. Okay, we get carried away, but let's go back to our sugya. Tearing paper. We said ein choyd chinesaniyot. So we said why mitaken moner. We asked why mitaken moner. Why there's no isur of koireya. So the Shitas Arishonim, Chiyuv Korea is only when it's Almanas Litfoil. Very good. Over here is Korea Shelo Almanas Litfoil, only Almanas Litzlois. And that's what he wants to do. Litzlois Dag Maliyah. That's the word. So it's going to be bottle. Even there's a tikkun. But in the Rambam, that he says that any kriya that has in it a tikkun is going to be chayev, as we saw in the Rambam, right? In Perek Yud Alocha Yud Aleph, anything, anything that is not only mekalkel, there's episode tikkun in them is going to be chayev. So the choyre, so why over here there's no din of koireya? A good shaila. Let's continue on. Weiter, just there's a chayodom and nishmas odom. Klal Choftes, talking base, what he speaks about it. The Bir Alocha also speaks about it in Shin Mem, and Kivegel, and bechule. Okay, let's continue weiter. Zog the Gemara weiter. We learned in the Mishnah that when ve'ein goyofin tanu v'kirayim, says the Gemara, Toni Rav Yosef Bar Yosef, sorry. Kamei Rav Nachman. Rav Chia Bar Yosef learned in front of Rav Nachman. Ve'im efshar lefois eloi kein gofoi mutar. That means if it will come, and you could not come and cook, only if you will come and cook it, then it's going to be mutar. Why? So Rashi tells us over here, ve'im efshar loi mutar ke Rav Yehuda. That means this is a kabir that's machshir oichel nefesh. That means that's the Shulchan Aruch writes as well. If there is over there the tiach that fell in, yeah, if it is over there, what are we talking about? The tiach shenochal toichatanu, and you want to come to remove the tiach from inside the tanu. So the Shulchan Aruch says that if the tiach that fell into the tanu is over there, kedei lachroich es apas, it's going to burn the bread, yeah. That without the grife, it's going to come. But if you do the grife, you could come and use it normal. So then you're allowed to come and to do the grife. What's the reason? Says the Mishnah Berurah, so the poskim, that this is only when the tiach fell today or yesterday and he didn't know about it. But what if, yes, he could have come and fixed it yesterday. He could have come and removed the tiach yesterday. What if he came and he knew about it yesterday? He said, Erev Yom Tov, I'm very, very busy, running, doing, very busy day. You know what? Yom Tov, I have time, I'm going to remove it. When I have to come to, so this is, as we just said now, the Rashi comes and says, what Rashi says with these words, Kerabuda? What that means? Machshir Eichel Nefesh. Machshir Eichel Nefesh is only mutar when it's Yef Shami Boid Yoim. And I feel like Kerabuda, as we said, yeah, we spoke about the Fida Choinim, a very strong Yisoid, the Rishonim already, the Ran. And Machshir Eichel Nefesh is the Chuyo. It's not like Eichel Nefesh itself, what's Hutro, right? That's what Nafkamin, as we spoke, the Akdome to the Sugya Machshirei. And we're going to speak a little bit more about Machshirei today. So even if it's done yesterday and he didn't know about it, that's also called Machshirei Shel Ef Shami Boid Yoim. But if it was something that's Ef Shami Boid Yoim, it's going to be also because then that's what Rashi comes and says over the word Kerabuda. Rashi comes and says Kerabuda, that means it's Mitzad Machshirin, and it's a big Nafkamin Aloche, as the Mishnah Berurah brings, just this word in Rashi Kerabuda. So the Gemara.
Didn't we also learn yesterday a heter for Tiltul Muktzah on Yom Tov?
If it's only Eichel Nefesh itself.
Yeah, and that's exactly our case here, no, is it not?
Tiltul Muktzah, yes. That's Shitas HaToisves. Shitas HaToisves, that's it's an interesting chiddush by Toisves. And that Toisves says that Tzorech Yom Tov, you're allowed to also in Ches, and also in Toisves, over here in Daf Lamed Aleph on the base. If you look at the last Toisves, Omar Abzer B'Yom Tov Amru, Pirush, Deitiru Muktzah Mishum Eichel Nefesh, Avole B'Shar Chakai Yisrael L'Ritzbo, Shepir Yisrael, Detiltul Muktzah Deitiru Yom Tov Mishum Eichel Nefesh. That's the last few words in Toisves and Lamed Aleph on the base.
Why is this tip that fell down different to regular Korah cotton, the ash that's left behind?
When it's Tam and Shabbos, let's talk about Yom Tov over here. It's the Machshirin. Again, over here we see over here that this is called the Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says Machshirin is mutar, but this is only Efshar Boid Yoim, or we say Efshar Bein Acher, yeah. But anything that you could do, as you can see about the Gemara, you could do in a different way. It's going to be awesome. Now, the din of in Eichel Nefesh is a little bit different. Eichel Nefesh, even if it's Efshar Bein Acher, it's still going to be mutar, yeah. So Pashtus is like we said the Ran, right? The Ran says the beginning of Perek Beis that Veleches Oichel Nefesh is Hutro, and that's why Ribu B'Shiurim and Oichel Nefesh is Muter, and Oichel Nefesh itself is also going to be Muter Be'efshar B'Inyan Acher, or Machshir Oichel Nefesh is only Dechuyo. Yeah. Okay. Sog die Gemorre weiter. Omarlei, Maise. The bisu de Rabchie nofalo ariche betanura b'yom tov. The wife of Rabchie fell into the tanur over there. One of the tiles. Yeah, oriach means one of the tiles. It's a oriach, not really a tile. It's a hefel. Let's see Rashi. Rashi says chatzi leveino, but nitak mikois latanur. The inside is like tiles and fell over. Omar lo Rabchie tells his wife, Chosi de'ano rifte me'ali beina. Just make sure I want to have a proper chale for Yom Tov, baked well, not burnt. That means, in different words, goyrev datanu, come and why that the bread should be properly baked. Basically, it tells her be goyrev. Omar lei Rove l'shamye. Rove tells his shamish, tvili bar avze, roast me a small goose. Make sure that it shouldn't come and get burned this goose. That means when you come to the tunnel, when you see over there, there's a little bit of dirt inside, or a little bit of tiach, or whatever it is, do a grife that the goose shouldn't touch anything, it should be properly baked. So we see that if it's going to do a charich, then it's mutter. That's all the rights of the Gemara. Look, the Gemara weiter. Omar le Ravine le Ravashi. Omar lon Rav Achem Mehutzel. That means Rav Achem Mehutzel told us about you. The mal, that means that you, that means Ravashi, Shalkin le Tanura b'Yom Tov. Your servants, they would come and they would put around the tanur on Yom Tov, they would come and put over there like a teat, that the heat shouldn't come out when they're roasting inside. And this is very interesting. Why? Because gibul teat is a tolde of lisha. What's gibul teat? Gibul teat means making cement. You have to do cement on the Yom Tov? No, because this is lisha. You take over there a bit of water, a bit of this powder, right? And you mix it together. It's tolde of lisha. You shouldn't do it on Yom Tov because efshar la'aseh so me'erev Yom Tov, or you could come and block it with something else, or efshar be'inyan acher. As we said in machshirim, there's no header of efshar be'inyan acher, or something that you could have done me'erev Yom Tov. And this gibul tit, coming and doing cement on Yom Tov, or blocking you want to come and to make sure that there should be a good heat inside the tunnel, so you're blocking the tunnel, the opening of the tunnel with a teat. You could have done the teat erev Yom Tov, and also you could have come and blocked it with something else. It's efshar be'inyan acher. So that's the shaila. How could you do it? That's what Ravina is asking Ravashi. Omar Lei, so Ravashi answers Ravina, we don't block the tunnel with teeth that we actually came and we will make gabel. That means we came and we mixed it on Yom Tov. Why? Because Anan arakte the pras al chinan. We live next to the Nahar Pros. In Nahar Pros, right, there's mud, a lot of mud around it. That means it's already megubal. The teeth over there is already prepared for us. We just have to go on the bank of the river of Nahar Pros. We take a bit of mud over there and we use it. Ve'anemile, says the Gemara, ve'anemile, the Tzairem Etzvoy. That he came and he took it from yesterday, the teeth. Over that what he done over there, a cement, and he came and he disconnected it from yesterday. Because we need to have hachone, yeah? That's the Masechet. But if he didn't prepare it from yesterday, it's still going to be awesome. Still going to be awesome. Says Rashi, let's see Rashi, also by Simen v'nitko letzad acher. And why? Because this Tachronim say, because we need to have hachone. Omar Avina. V'kitme, kitme means always efer. Yeah, kitme shore legabloi v'latuach boy delav bar gibulu. I'm reading from Rashi. Yeah, because it's all about gibul, you'll have to come to the gibul. So what do we see over here? We saw over here that there's an isur lisha, right? There's an isur lisha, but there's a difference between isur lisha, as we said, the gibul be'efer, right? That's what we saw over here. Omar lei, right? Ravina tells Ravashi, Omar lon Ravachem, Meutzol, that you came and done it, and Rashi comes and says over here Rashi comes and says over here that Ravine comes and says, and what's the din? Because Isu of Lisha, right? Rashi Dibo Maschil, Shakilo, Tanure. Avde Adoini Tochin Sibo Iskisu Ipi Atanu, the teacher, the Yates Hoimer Shatzim, the Toy Shavua, Koseletzi, the Tame alone, Milza. I wonder about it. That's what he's telling Ravashi. Ravine tells Ravashi, Mishum the Gibulti told the Delisha. It's a told the Delisha. So how can you do it? Masechet, when you come and talking about the Kit Meshore, says Rashi, the Lav Bar Gibulu. That's what Rashi comes and says. What's the reason? What's the reason? If Gibul is also, what's the difference between Gibul Tit, the Gibul of Eiffel? That's what he said in Rashi. And the same thing the Rif says, and the Rishonim, Masach Rishonim, figuring of Rashi, what's the nafkamine between Gibul Tit to Gibul Tit? Yeah. What's the din of Losh? Oh. What is the Isra of Gibul? That's what we have to understand. So the Isra of Gibul, you're right. There's the Gemara in Shabbos. The Gemara says in Shabbos, in Daf Yud Ches, the Gemara brings over there Machlekes Tanoim in the din of Gibul. I mean, in the din of Losh, really. Lisha, what's the din of Lisha? Rebbe says that Lisha is, when is the Lisha? Mishas Nesina. You put the water al gabe kemach. You have, let's talk a Lisha of bread. So you have flour, you put above that, you put water, and then you mix it. The Rebbe says once you have the flour and you put the water above the flour, it's going to be a Isur Lisha. The other Tanoim disagree, and they say no, that this is going to be Davke ad sheye gabel. Putting just the water on top of the flour is not going to be good enough. You have to start a mix. When you're mixing, that's going to be a thing. And over then the Gemara explains there's two types of lishas. There's a lisha of a ta'aroives. That means a ta'aroives it's a bar gibul that's made of a bar gibul. And there's a ta'aroives that's lav bar gibul. That's what the Gemara says. What is the machloikis over there in the Tanoim? So the Gemara says it's talking about a dough that is a bas gibul. That means that it's made of bas gibul. But if it's talking about over there a dough that's not bar gibul, it's not a bas gibul. So says the Gemara that then everyone's going to be moide that what is chayv mishas. So Abaye says over there that it's going to be chayv mishas nesina samayim. Lefi Rabbi Yosef, also this is going to be a machloikes that is not going to be chayv only at sheyeh gabel. As I said the Gemara dort. Lefi them fragen the Rishonim on Rashi, and we said the Rif also. And over here we see that word Adarabbe, fakert. Isa that slav bar gibul. Rashi tells us that word. Why an Eifer is no problem to be with gabel because lav bar gibul. That's what Rashi is telling us. So we see that fakert that Isa that slav bar gibul. There's more of a chiyuv of lisha in the Gemara Shabbos, and over here we see that word is not going to be a Isa. As I fragen the Rishonim on Shitas Rashi. So there's two terutzim. The first teretz is lefi the Rambam. The Rambam comes and says in Ilchos Shabbos Perek Ches, and then of Perek Ches, he says over there that the Mishnah Melech over there tells that he says that Abaye, you're right, Eralt, that Lav Bar Gibul, there's more of a reason to be Mechayev, and it's going to be Chayev if it's Lav Bar Gibul Mishas Nesina. But Rabbi Yosef disagrees on Abaye, and he says that something that's Lav Bar Gibul, yes, it's not machloikes. It's not machloikes. Everyone's going to be moided to Rebbe. That what? Everyone's going to be moided that it's not called a gibul. And the Rambam like Rashi, that the Rabbi Yosef, right? If it's not bar gibul, he's not going to be chayev a gibul. Afilu is going to be megabel. Afilu is going to be megabel. So we're going. I'll leave it the Rabbi Yosef and not the Abaye, and not the Abaye. And the Rosh over here has another malach. Okay. He put over there Maimeh. Rav Yom Tev, he made the Silas Hamayim, that's the Gibul, and he didn't do the Gibul because the Ikar is the Silas Hamayim, the Rebbe. Okay. So we learned in the Mishnah. We learned in the Mishnah that you shouldn't put two Chaviyos. Why? Because as we said, Binyan. Right? To put on Lishpo Yisrael Zagdeir, the Lashon of the Mishnah. Omar Am Nachman. Avonim shel Beis Akisei, mutor letzadedon beyom tev. That means Avonim shel Beis Akisei, it was big stones, as Rashi says, Avonim gedolos, shemetzadin oisel liyos kemin moishav cholul, veyoishin aleim basodos, b'mokom amiyuchad leBeis Akisei. So they take big bricks and they mesader it. They have over there like a hollowed pot. So this you're allowed to come and tell Tzadadon to put them on the side on Yom Tov. Vaydi Gemara Eisa ve'Rab le Rav Nachman Ma'u Mishneh Ein Makifin Shticha V'Yesh Tishpeis Alei Sagdeira. Why? Because as we said, we saw Rashi in the Mishnah because Doimel Abinyan. So we should ask the same thing. The Avonim should be Tzakisi should be also for the same reason. Omar le En Ferter Rav Nachman Tarabe Shaini Osam. We should look at Ovid or Hole. It means by a Kofas Chavir is what we learned. He's doing oil. Because it has also a gag. What's the gag? The Gdeiro itself is a gag. He has two tfanos, the two chavios, the two barrels, and the root what he's doing it is with the pot, putting the pot, the Gdeiro on top. But Tzidu Davoni of Misakise, he doesn't have a gag. He's just taking over there the bricks, and he's making nicely over there, one side, two sides, third side, fourth side, and that's it. Omar, so the Gemara weiter. Omar le Rabbe Zutel Ravashi. That means. He's asking us Shaila. What? If you have their binyan, they build a binyan in Shabbos on Yom Tov, and you didn't put on a roof. It could be mutar. No. Elo me'ato. That's what he's asking. Elo me'ato l'shitoscha bono yitztabo. They build over there, stam a place, yeah. At what? And they build a something. Beyond the lo yovidole. He's not doing over there oil, right? On the thing, it's just a building like a itztabo. Itztabo is like a, as Rashi says, kisei shel binyan leveini v'tit. That means it doesn't have anything hollowed that has over there oil. Yeah, you just come and putting cement and having over there a block that you can come and sit on, like a bench. It's full. There's no hollowed. Yeah, a bench that's not hollowed. It's gonna be mutar. On Nami the Shor, it's gonna be mutar because of that. There's a thing. For sure not, because this is a binyan. So also the Avoni should be Sakisa, you should answer because it's Domil Binyan, you shouldn't be Mechalek. It doesn't have a gag, it doesn't have a gag. Omar Lei. So Ravashi answers Rabbi Zute Azoi. We have to be Mechalek between the two. Hosom, that means by Yitztabo, Binyan Keva Osro Toiret. And because when he's doing of the Yitztabo, he's building a Binyan Keva, and that's why it's also to do it. But over here, what he's doing, it's a Binyan Arai. It's a Binyan Arai. Today, you finish the use the basic key, say someone else is gonna take these stones to somewhere else. What? Aber binyan Omar lei also binyan keva also toiva, but binyan arai loi also toiva. Because Rabbon binyan arai mishum binyan keva, ve'ochem mishum kvoido loi gozo beRabbonon. Let me just say. Each step is definitely a keva. Each step is he's taking over this cement and he's creating over there, as we said, like betonada or whatever it's called. You have to sit on. How you call it? A platform, something to sit on. Over there, it's a binyan keva. Binyan keva, it's going to be also in Torah. Over there, it's also going to be the Rabbanon. And because Kvoide Shalodon that he needs to go to Beis HaKisei and Mokim Tzanua, so he goes to Rabbanon to do Tzidu Davonim on Yom Tov. Even without teeth, this is with teeth. I mean, if it's Mesader it without the thing, yeah. Because Kvoide, they were matir only binyan arai and not binyan keva.
This breaks without cement.
The Itztava is Rashi says Leveini Vetit. Rashi says Binyan Leveini Vetit. This is a Binyan thing. We saw that. Yeah. Yeah. So even if it's a oil, it's going to be mutar because it's a mishum kvoida. Yeah, that's fine for the way the shaila, what we asked in the beginning, right? Anything is going to be anything. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Omar Rav Yehuda. I medurte. The last shura. Daf lamed beis amad beis. Omar Rav Yehuda. I medurte. Milemalo lemato shori. Milemato lemalo osur. What's the pshat? Medurte means Zog Rashi hesek godoy shoysi mifnei sori kederch binyan oisi lo iksoli midal druchoy v'soidu eitz lemalo v'doy meloi. That means hesek godoy. That means a big fire. What they do over there in front of the ministers, in front of the important people. And it's made like a binyan. That means they do 4 walls from wood, and on top of them they put also from wood, also like they do a gang. And then they light the whole thing, and it's a bonfire. So there's a difference how you do it in Yom Tov. If you do it milemalo lemato, Rashi lesader milemato lemalo. Sorry, Rashi lesader or eitzi sheksolim tchilo la sisalem agag asurin sheder binyanu. If you start first to do the eitzim, and then the ksolim, that's going to be also. אבל מלמעלה למטה, להתחיל מלמעלה למטה, להתחיל תחילה מלגג, ואחר כך סעדו דחתו, עד ציר כסולים שורים. Rashi is fakir from the Gemara. The Gemara first brings milemalo lemata, then milemata lemalo. Anyway, so that's Rashi as well. Milemalo lemata. First he has a seder of, he starts with the roof, and then he goes to the ksolim. That's not a derech binyan, right? As we learned also in Gabi, we just had sukkahs, right? And sukkahs, right? The Taz says you shouldn't build first the schach and then the walls. You first build the walls and then you put on it the schach, right? The Taz says that if someone does the schach, then the walls start to the passing the Taz. Anyway, we see that that's the derech binyan first to start from the walls and then to go to the schach to start the milemalo lemalo. That's going to be also because that's a derech binyan. Look, the Gemara. Daf Lamed Gimel, today's daf. V'chein bi'aseh. Oh, says Beitza. Bi'aseh is a Beitza. A Beitza, they put over there the Beitza on a kli cholul, as Rashi says. Let's see Rashi. V'chein bi'aseh. Beitzim gasois, anesunois al pi kli cholul, kein torpid. Oya la askelo, ein mo yishivin esaklit tchilo v'achar kach yisad olov eliyah. זה לא ביודוי. וישיב הביצה עליו ואחר כך יש בכלי על הגחולים של יעשינו כסדר בין. תמיד הזה. When they put over there this egg, you have over there a hollow kli, and you want it to have like a lid. So you put over there the kli on the charcoals, on the gecholim. And why? Because you want basically what you're doing over here, you want to roast the egg. Yeah, you want to roast the egg. So you don't put first the kli and then you put the egg. Why? Because that's a derech binyan. It's what? You hold the kli in your hand. And you put the beitza, and then you put the kli on top of the gecholim. That's the way to roast it, and you shouldn't do it for kel. Says the Rabbi Yehuda, v'chein gedeiro, v'chein purye, the same thing a bed, v'chein chavite. What's the pshat? Says Rashi. Each one Rashi explains. V'chein gedeiro shemoishim al beis chavir yishtaya kifen otchil v'achar kach yishu yagdir alein yer rikta ba'avir yachzen aviyad v'yisad v'chavir sachteor. Chavir. וכן פיוריה, מיתת הסורי שפוגנוס ומחזירים לא יזכה בקרעיים תחילו לא שיסחרו כוס בקרעיים ואחר כך חיפו יסורי למטה ששוק מן עולם לא. פויר הסורי תחילו ויחזו בני אודו בידי ואחר כך יביאו ארוכו יסויק שרוצוי שלו ואחר כך יזקפו הקרעיים ויתנו ארוכו ותריכם וכן חבית החבית שמשרד לבעצם משיב מנחת ולגם יש 2. What that means? So let's explain each one. Gdeiro is, you're putting over there 2 chaviyos and on top you're putting over there gdeiro. So no, don't start first. Someone should come and hold the pot. He's holding the pot. 2 other people bring, as he has already the pot in this space, they bring 2 barrels on both of the sides. So he first had the gag, because that's the pot is the gag, and then he's bringing the barrels, and then the funnel is from the sides. Purya is the same thing. Purya is a bed that is, they dismantled the bed. It's a bed of sawing. So they put over there the arukoi samito. The arukoi samito is the long size of the bed. Yeah, they put it, and then they put on it like a big piece of leather, and that's basically what they sleep on. He says, don't first put over there the pieces on the side and then put the leather, because you first building the tfanos, and then this what? Someone should come and stretch the leather, and then bring to it the leather, and the same thing chavita, when you masada the chaviyos in the oitzer, in the oitzer, you first put the top one, and then they should bring in the side ones. It shouldn't be first the gag and then the tfanas, and that's not called a binyan. That's not the binyan.
What happened to oil?
Mitzat was? No, that's not a derech oil. That's exactly what we say.
This is not the way to make tzedmud. This binyan is oil. It's the same.
Maybe only because this is only because it's oil arai. I think you're gonna have to say that this is only because it's oil arai. When there's no mechitzas, when you're doing it this way, oil arai is gonna be mutar. What Rav Yehuda is saying? Rav Yehuda, I meduto milemato, shorim milemato lemalo also, right? What do we see over here? It's oil arai. No, it's oil. That is a boiner, the oil, yeah. So what do we see over here? When he's doing the oil arai, that's dafke when they are matter to do oil arai, or when they ask to do oil arai, Dafke when he's starting milemato lemalo. But if he's starting milemalo lemato, it's going to be mutter. That's all of the things. It's, not Dafke, because Toises, if you look at Toises like reflect on our meaning. Toises reflect that we see that we do over there. Eichem esad shulchan she'elo raglayim agavi safsoli sheloi התחילו מסיעה ספסולים ואחר כך מסיעים על איזה השולחן. Toises reflect, אז Toises reflect over in דף in daf lamed base on base, the last Toises. So Toises reflect. So why it's not called Siyas Oil? Because he's doing it milemato lemalo. So Toises proves from over here that the Isra Siyas Oil is only in the case is mechitzas. There's no mechitzas, you're allowed to. And the reason is, what's the reason? So the Rosh over here says in Siman Yudalet, the Rosh says a interessante Loschen. The Rosh says
it's also all for Shabbos. It's all just Yontif, all for Shabbos as well.
Lichoyer Shabbos as well.
Big Chiddush.
I think it is. So one second. But the Rosh says over here in Ois Yud Aleph, the Rosh says something very interesting. The ein oil below mechitzas. The ein oil below mechitzas. He's talking oil without mechitzas. So Toises being over here, Toises being, and from that Rashi we see that what also when there's no mechitzas, there's a isur of asiyas oil. Also, there's no mechitzas. There's a isur also. When there's no mechitzas, it's a big shine in the Rishonim because the Rashba in Shabbos in Kuf Lamed says that there's a isur of oil even without mechitzas. So yes, but Toises over here has a chidush, and this thing Toises over here has a chidush, and the same thing is that Toises in Shabbos daf Lamed Vov. That chutz and this that there's over here a problem. Yeah, it should be mechitzah. There's also a problem to come and Toises says la asois, right? That's the lashon of Toises. Le'ami there's a mechitzah b'Shabbos. Because Toises has a problem. What they come and put back over there, the Kdeiro al Gabi Kiro. Why it should be also you're doing oil. So it says Toises the only issue of Asiyas oil is only when you ma'ami the mechitzas. But if the mechitzas were done already and he's putting it al Gabi mechitzas, that's not issue oil. That we talk about Gabi Shabbos. Yeah. Now Toises brings there's a Toises in Eirovin, or Toises brings that the Firashi there's Zecher design also. And mechitzas asuyos is also to come to put it, and that's a shaila on Rashi. When you have a kiro, right? What's a kiro? Kiro is you have the mechitzas and hollowed on top, right? And you're putting the k'deiro, you're doing other thing. So kumta is just there's a machloikes and Rashi and Toises in two different parts. First of all, if oil aray needs, it should have mechitzas. Second of all, if we need to come to say that the mechitzas, right, be ma'amid first the mechitzas, and that depends one on the other one, right? There's a din of mechitzas, so you have to come and say that what be ma'amid the mechitzas. But the fishi das Rashi that you don't need mechitzas b'chlal, so pasha that you don't need to be ma'amid the mechitzas. Okay,
but that's a tour is a big chiddush because when you put the top without mechitzas, there's no hoyer. I accept that. But as soon as you put the mechitzas, you make a hoyer. So you make oil, the oil you're making.
Oh, but that's not the derech. That's not the derech.
So not the derech. It's not. But if you make oil, Shabbos Bash shouldn't be chayav. It's not a derech, but you make oil. So shloike derech you're allowed to do any avodah shloike derech. Any melacha shloike derech you're allowed to. If you make the melacha, you make the melacha. If you're Korea shloike derech, if you're toifer shloike derech,
so you're allowed to come with the. No, Toy says that it's not called oil when you don't have mechitzas. But it depends. If it's oil that you have only oil, or it's still called oil, even you don't have mechitzas. Yeah, that's clear.
Because the mashmos here lechura,
bread is oil, yeah.
The mashmos here lechura is the oil. The oil is only the top.
Yeah.
That's when you get the oil, and if there's no mechitzas, you're already down the top. Even if we create the oil afterwards, it doesn't matter.
So that's the Rosh says this over here. The Rosh over here says that even though the oil needs to have mechitzas, and you have to be ma'amid mechitzas, but he says oil osu lehogen, that means from chamo from chomim, it's oil gomul ve'osu, even when he didn't have mechitzas, and even when he doesn't have mechitzas b'chlal. He proves it from the Gemara on Eirovin and Daf Kuf Beis. So the whole thing that you need to have mechitzas and also to be ma'amid the mechitzas is only when we're talking about an our sugya that you don't have an oil. That's also just a din of oil. But I just want to be Mesakim
Yeah, but
before.
still, Charlie, it's the same. You're making mechitzas afterwards, so you make the oil the other way around, but you create an oil which is not allowed to. So it's much more here that the chelik of the isur is only the top. The sides are not the chelik of the isur, so you cannot make the oil retrospective. Doesn't matter. It's still a chiddush. I'm just
when it's on oil.
In the roof is-
It's no longer. So let's be Mesakim. Let's be Mesakim. Just the dinim of it very quickly. There's 3 dinim in oil. First of all, if you don't need the avir underneath, bichlal, for example, to put a book on top of a book, what's going to be the din? You're putting a sefer on Shabbos. Sefer, another sefer, and you're putting another sefer on top. It should be oil. So that's mutter, even when he's doing a mechitze and a gag, as I pass on the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Reish Tezvav, same side. Then we have another type of oil, if it needs the avir underneath. Because over here, when I'm putting a sefer, another sefer, I don't need the avir underneath. There's another thing. If I need the avir that's underneath, yeah, the hollowed part, but it's not made to protect anything. And this, we need to have mechitzes, and you should do the mechitzes and the gag, right? This properly, and as I said, the Shulchan Aruch over there, in Seif Gimel. Over there, the Biraloch brings also to be Choshesh with the Das Rashba, we just mentioned that also should be also without mechitzes. Then we have another thing is, Rabbi Yehuda mentioned, is umbrella, for example, these things. Umbrella is a big shayla if it's mutar or not. Yeah, I am Chasam Sofer, like Rabbi Yehuda, we spoke about it once. If it's made to protect, right? Lehogen, as we saw over here, the Rosh over here, it's Tosis also in Shabbos, what Tosis in Daf Lamed Vav, or with base in Shabbos. What if it's made to protect Mechama or Mikshomim? It's also, even if it has a gag without any mechitzas bichlal, as I pass the Shulchan Aruch over there in Seif base. Now the shaila is what Rashi says over here, that Rabbi Yehuda asad chavite, right? Now Rabbi Yehuda asad chavite is not la'alocha, because what it's also lefi Rabbi Yehuda is only when he doesn't chavite. It's the choyras no miskaven. Dover shei miskaven is also. Mir paskinen like Rab Shimon, that dover shei miskaven is muter. So Tosis over here comes and says, so we can see about, let's see the Veilchas and then we're going to speak about it. Zog the Gemara weiter. We learned in the Mishnah, ve'in soimchin es agdeiro bebkas, ve'chein bedeles. Now, the Gemara understood in the beginning that what's the pshat in our Mishnah? Ein soimchin es agdeiro bebkas, and the same thing, ein soimchin es agdeiro bedeles. The Gemara understood now that you don't push it. By the Gemara, bedeles sal kedaita. What the other avami that you can come and do it bedeles. That means that someone who comes and actually is soimach the gdeir with the deles is going to break. No one does it. Elohim evechein deles. That means the same thing. The deles, you don't be soimach the deles with the bekas, with this log of wood. Tonu Rabbanon. Ein soich es akdeir bekas vechein adeles. And the same thing, you don't come and be soimach the deles of kas. Why? As we learned in the Mishnah, this kas is made for Rab Shimon. Matir. Rab Shimon is matir. So the choyer kum does that what? It's not lefi our thing. Zogt Rashi. Rashi di mamaskin bedeles akadem ize asoyach der bedeles v'alo tishover. Ein mechein adeles. Ein soich inois b'kaz. Rab Shimon matir deles lei muktzeh. Deles lei muktzeh. Zogt the Gemara weiter. Ve'ein manhig es abeima b'makel b'yomte v'Rab Lozor b'Rab Shimon matir. Now the Gemara assumed that the reason of Tanakama that aser is because of muktzeh. Why? Because the eitzim, what he's manning the behemoth, he's taking the wood. This is made for a soccer and not for coming and leading a behemoth. By the Gemara, Leimer Rab Lazar Rab Shimon. That means Rab Lazar Rab Shimon. Rab Lazar Rab Shimon is matir, goes like his father, like Rab Shimon. It says the Gemara, Leimer Rab Lazar Rab Shimon. Rab Lazar Rab Shimon ke'avue sfira leideles leimuktzeh. By the Gemara, and for the Gemara, loi, no. It's not the reason like we assumed in the beginning because it's muktzeh, and that's the reason of Tanakame Asad and Rab Lazar Rab Shimon is matir because they're out as zayin tate is like Rab Shimon that's less than muktzeh, and that's why he's matir. The reason is also the Tanakame there's no issue using this stick to lead the behemoth mitzad dinei muktzeh. It's completely something else. What is the thing? Beho, by leading a behemoth with a makel, afilu Rab Shimon moide. Rab Shimon is going to be moide. That means the father of Rab Lazar, yeah? Rab Lazar is matir. But Rab Lazar's father was Rab Shimon. Rab Shimon says, less le muktzeh, he would also be moed. It's also like a Tanakame. Why? Because the reason that it's prohibited to be manning a behemoth with a makel and yontav is mishum mechzek man de ozil le chimge. it looks like this person is going now to travel to a long distance. And when you go for a long distance and you need over there a stick, and it's like Keilu is going to Chinge. What means Chinge? To the market to sell it. Right? It's called over there, the market is called the Mochoil. Chinge. Chinge means like a circle, like a Mochoil. Why? Because people go round and round and round and round and round. And the women, they go noch einmal the shopping center, right? Do circles around the shopping center. And that's what it's called. Yeah, you can see Dr. Rashi. I didn't make it up. You can see it in Rashi. It's matir. It's nothing to do with muktzeh. Just what it has to do with Dr. Rashi. אפילו רב שמעון בוידק את הדקה מדעוסו ולא מישהו מוקצה לו נראה כמו הליך למוקר למוקר שהוא צריך להעניקו הרבה לכהן למכור בשוק. חינגה מוכר ועל שם שבני אודם סויבים והולכים בשוק אין סויב ויסמוכו לו יזכור אולי חינגה. That's what it's called the חינגה. So we see over here that what we pass like Rab Shimon, right? So if he's doing over here what we pass like Rab Shimon, so if he's doing an oil shame scam, it's going to be thing, and that Toises scam speaks out over here that the effect of Rashi. Toises disagrees, right? Because Toises says that this is called metaken, right? Toises says, this is in so Toises says that when we're talking about over here, says Toises, that's going to be right. It's considered the Omar Rab Shimon. This Toises the Omar Rab Shimon. What Rab Shimon comes and says over here is going to be דבר שמסכם מודע, היינו כגוי שאויסה דבר שמסכם לעשויס, אבל אוכל מסכם לעשויס, משהו אויסה. The last few words in Toises and Lamgimon Amadalef, the first Toises Lamgimon Amadalef. It disagrees on Rashi. This is not called Dover Shem Iskaven. Again, it's a big discussion what Toises means over here because it's a big chiddush in Dover Shem Iskaven. What means Dover Shem Iskaven? Yeah, so, okay. Right. Look at Toises over here. It's kidai to see it. Okay, let's continue the Gemara. Before we go to the next particular Gemara, let's do a small hakdama. Chachamim, as we mentioned yesterday and many times the last few days, Chachamim were matir to carry the metaltel eitzim letzorich hasoke on Yom Tov. Hasoke means to warm the house, to warm up the food, to cook. Lichoire, we don't need a special heter. We don't need a special heter to come to be Masechet. Why? Because Yom Tov, right? There's no issue of over in Yom Tov. The wood, right? If you could use the wood on Yom Tov, like Atzah Soka, it's going to be okay. They're not like, as we call it, Soroirois ve'avonim, right? Avonim, like we talk about avonim, offer that they are muktzeh. Now, Rashi, later on, Rashi comes and explains the way on the base. Rashi explains that when we're talking about Rashi on the base, Rashi explains that Stam 18, what do you do with Stam 18? We mentioned it also before in the Mishnah. You do with it Kalim. Stam 18, oimdim leKalim. Rashi, Stam 18, oimdim leKalim. No. Kli you're allowed to do on Yom Tov a Kli? No, tarnished. So mitam them, stam 18 or oimdim leKalim, make them with all kinds of utensils, vessels, is going to be also to carry it on Yom Tov because it's muktzeh. The stam Kli, it's set aside for stam of wood, it's set aside for coming creating from it whatever it is, yeah, a fork or a spoon or whatever it is. So it should be muktzeh. Chachamim came to be matir, the tzorich hasoka to carry it. Now, there's a machlokes now in the Gemara we can see a machlokes on going what's the din of wood for different purposes, not for hasoka. It's allowed on Yom Tov, also Yom Tov. Chachamim was also matir to come to use the wood for different purposes, or maybe then we're going to go back to the issue of muktzeh on Yom Tov. So the Gemara brings first of all a machlokes about chazara. What's chazre? Chazre means a small branch. A small branch. And what's going to be, that is not the tzorich hasoka, just is, this is for coming and use is a shpud. Right? They used to use the shpud of Korban Pesach, they used to use for what? Chazre shel rima, the Gemara says. That means a small branch of, like, you can stick it in, right? Into the rima, the Gemara says it's moist, so it doesn't burn, it doesn't heat it up from inside. Anyway, so that is the talking about the chazre. Can I come and take over there a piece of wood You use it as spare for coming and roasting the meat on Yom Tov or not. Let's see it inside. Chazre, sagt Rashi Chazre, anaf eitz שהוא חד כקויץ, ורואי לתוק אוי, לתקויה בצלי כמשפוט וליצלויס בוי. What's going to be the name? Sagt the Gemara, Rav Nachman Osar, Rav Nachman Aser than Yom Tov, is the Gemara to say what's the svara of Rav Nachman, the Rav Sheishes, Shori. The Gemara now explains what's the machloikas. Beretive, if this Chazre is moist, yeah, why? Because you cannot carry it last soccer. Because right, no one does hasokah with a wet piece of wood. Because this is not roy hasokah. So definitely it's going to be awesome. Keep liga. When is the machloikas? When this chazre, when this branch is beyabeshte. So this is dried out. And it's roy letalteloi hasokah. So what do we say? If it's going to be also muta. Now the more common says man de osar. That means Rav Nachman who aser. What's going to be the din? Why aser? Osar loch. And the reason is the reason on the allowed why because tam 18 oimbim last is kelim as we said it's going to be also Chacham was not matir only the hasoke so oil hasoke man the shore Avsheshes was matir the comment roasted why mali litos boy mali litos begachaltoy that means I want to come to do it as a spare as a spud to stick it into the meat and to roast it. And what's the difference in I coming and doing it last soccer and using the charcoal right of it to come to roast it? When it's roy last soccer, everyone I feel Rav Nachman is going to be more. Then it's no machloikas. Rav Nachman is going to be more this water. Kula amelo implica the shore. Because why? Because this swallow malilito is boy, malilito is bekachalto. The same thing. Keep liga when it's a machloikas. Beretivte. Mandosa, that means the Rav Nachman who asked why it's going to be also because the loichos de la soccer. No, you can't come and say malilito is boy, malilito is bekachalto because I don't have the gachalto because it's not roy la soccer. I don't have the gachalto. Uman the shore, the one that was matir or malo, or chozi lese godol. Yes, when you have a very strong fire and you can throw in this branch, even though it's a bit, and it's not going to come and burn because it dries out very fastly. I think. So the Hilchas over here is the one that says, as Rashi says, Leman Be'isle Muktzeh, yeah? That's the halacha by Chazre. Yabishte Shore, the dry is going to be also, Retivte, also, it's going to be also. That's only if you go to Rav Yudah. Dorash Rove. Lo di Gemara, Dorash Rove. Now, Rove alt, the Rav Yudah. Yeah, again, we're going to go now to Rashi Tzeichen 2 over here. As Rashi says, "Ve'ilchase chulei." That Rashi achilchase alibe demand the islay muktzeh yikva. Aval anan kirab Shimon svirelei bein bemuktzeh bein bedor she'eino miskaven kirab Yudah b'machshir echel nefesh. Kulu shoru bein chazre bein smichas koyros ve'akov aschavios umedurta ve'ktero v'chol amoyroim she'osru eseilu lemalo talmidei Rav avu Rav sova lo kirab Yudah b'muktzeh v'anan kaimelo kirab Shimon says Rashi. This the Gemara is ve'ilchase is not like our ilchase. The derech klal ve'ilchase the Gemara we pass like that ilchase. So Rashi over here, this ilchase we pass nicht also because this ilchase goes a little bit the Rav Yudah the Islay muktzeh. We pass like Shimon the Leslie muktzeh same thing. So the Gemara Dorash Rove. Now Rove sagt Rashi the Rav Yudah svirle. Yeah, Rove goes a little bit the Rav Yudah the Islay muktzeh. What's the thing? So the first thing what Rove Darshan says, Isha loitikones ledir oetzim litol mem ud. What means ud? Sagt Rashi ledir oetzim ud eitz las is ud letano. So this wood is a piece of wood to come and to do lachtos to come and to to stir the tunnel, right? Because how you call it? Stove. Like the kids always stand at Sreifas Chometz in Yerushalayim and they always playing around in the fire. Yeah, that's it. Shemo Yechate, you remember the Gemara in Shabbos, yeah, in Kiro, Shemo Yechate. Because, as Rashi we just said, Lo nitnu eitim elo la'asoken. But if it was done a kli b'oidyoim, by coming, what means I designated this for this purpose, that's going to be mutar. That's going to be mutar. Now, ve'ud weiter. Ve'ud, what if you have this that was prepared for Erev Yom Tov, yeah? For this purpose, to come and to stoke, to turn over the fire, to do the chitui. And it's a kli. Once I set this aside, especially on Erev Yom Tov, I was meyached it for this, so it's a kli. So what happened if it broke on Yom Tov? Oh, so you're not allowed to come and turn on it mitzad 8 because this was muktzeh. Lefi, shemasikim bekelim, ve'masikim b'shivrei kelim. Yeah, and as this we all learned. If you remember, where did we learn it? Yesterday. Beitza Medalef. We learned the whole sugya. We definitely Chazal Nidal. It's still a bit fresh. This is, I'm sure we still remember it from last night. Not even about 15 hours ago. Yeah, Ben Yoimre. Yeah. Lemeimre. Says the Gemara. Lemeimre. The Rove ke Rav Yehuda, right? As we just said now, that Rove al Rav Yehuda they stay muktzeh. For the Gemara, ve'omar lei Rove leshamei. Rove told the servant, Tvili ba'av ze v'shodem ein eleshunre. Roast me the goose, right? The small goose, and the bnei me'aim, the intestines, the inside, the kishkes, give to the cat to eat. Now, if you're Rav Yehuda, you're not allowed to come to carry the bnei me'aim. Why? Because yesterday it was prepared for who? For people and not for klovim. So how could Rove be matir to carry the bnei me'aim for the klovim? And for the Gemara awesome over there, the bnei me'aim, because kivan the masrechem etvol da'atelui, because they are smelly, they're not royal bnei odam. So already from yesterday, his das was to come and to give it to throw it to the cat, and it's gonna be mutar. The Masechet, they are. So the thing is that's what's going to be the thing. Yeah. The Masechet. That means if he's going to leave it, the thing. But so this Beitza is Masechet. Fine. Log the Gemara, the Mishnah. Let's see the Mishnah. We learn in the Mishnah. Rabbi Lezer Oimer. Noitel Odom Kisom me lefonov, Misha lefonov, lachtzis boishino. What means Misha lefonov? He has of their wood in front of him. He has of their wood in front of him. So he's taking a bit from the wood from in front of him. Right? Misha lefonov abayis, as Rashi says. They come and he needs a toothpick, basically. Right? He has over there stuck in his teeth. He has over there a bit of flesh, as Rashi says. Lido el bosa choyz deshinov. Misha lefonov lav davke. Rabbi Lezer af min achotzer nami dekoma kol mashe bechotzer muchanu. V'rei shelo yos lashmina lo yeto tiltu leitzim af shelo ilasoke. Iblu Rabbonon, Kamon Bryce McMorrow about the knocker Misha lefonov, Misha Rabbonon the pligin afilu Misha lefonov leadik ein lachtzitz loy. That means in lachtzitz loy. It means as when we come in and talk about the way Rashi explains that lefi Rabbi Lezer, even from 80 that are not really lefonov, it's going to be allowed to come and to be metalten. Why? Because as the klal is kol mashe bechotzer muchanu. As we can see, the Hemshech of the Mishnah, it's Mamish the the Mishnah. Why Rabbi Lezer said Misha lefonov? Tell me a bigger chidush. Only they come to tell us that he disagreed on Chachomim. And Chachomim, afilu Misha lefonov, you cannot come and take over there the toothpick to come and take out the meat in between your teeth. Only lehadlik in la sockets oimed and not le any other purpose, as we will see in the Beitza and the Gemara. Weiter. Log the Mishnah. Megabev means to come and to collect. Yeah, small twigs, small toothpicks. Mina chotzer. And even though it's a tircha to come and the thing, umadlik, and then he lights it. Right? Why? Shekol masha b'chotzer muchon. We don't say because it's a toirach, so it's not called mina muchon. No, even though it's a toirach, right? To come and to collect, and over there when we say madlik, just one that he doesn't need over there. Only to come in the light, and we can see what's the chiddush. We can see the Gemara what's the chiddush in this. That means you could only come and collect over there these small toothpicks, only what's in front of you, and only for the purpose of hadloke, hasoke, but not to come and use it as a toothpick. So what we see over here, again, this is very important. We see over in the Mishnah, Poshet Chat, in two different things. There's a machlokes, Rabbi Lezer and Chachomim. Not two different things, and two inyonim, let's call it. First of all, lefi Rabbi Lezer, megabev kismit dakin, right? Even from the chotzer, lefi Chachomim, he's not megabev, that means not collecting this kismit dakin, only from what's in front of him. Why? Because it's a toirach. They are not prepared from yesterday. They are not mochan from yesterday. You don't say anything into the chotzer's mochan because it's a big tircha. So he didn't think about yesterday. He's going to collect it. That's one machlokes. Another machlokes is, well, if you're Rabbi Lezer, you're allowed to come and take a toothpick afilu from 18 shebechotzer. If you're Chachomim, you're allowed to take only what's in front of you and only to light and not to use it as a toothpick. Sag the Mishnah weiter. Ein moitzin esour loy mina eitzim veloy mina avonim veloy mina ofo. and the Bach is not going as this, the Bach is not going as this. Well, steht Veloy min harofim, Veloy min hamayim, vein melabnin es harofim litzlo isboyim. What's the pshat? So the pshat is the way Rashi says it. Why Emoitzin Yom Tov Ur? Yeah, you don't create a new fire. Why? Because it says Rashi a very interesting thing. Mishum de moilid. Moilid. You're creating a new fire. It was not there in Yom Tov. And you're allowed to do avora. You're allowed to create a fire on Yom Tov only if you could have done it right Erev Yom Tov. And that's why you don't come and take out a new fire, because this you could have done in Erev Yom Tov. Light the candle and then. That's the loy min ha'etzim. What's loy min ha'etzim? It's coming and rubbing wood one against the other one until it comes out the fire. That you shouldn't do on Yom Tov. Again, this is the thing. Veloy min ha'avorim. Again, you take 2 stones. Veloy min ha'ofel. That means what's awful? It's karka. That's Rashi. Karka kosher shechoyvri loyisem utzia ur kein gergishte shelano yimokim machpoile shelo. You have certain thing that's like very tough, very hard. Veloy min hamayim. What means min hamayim? Again, Rashi over min hamayim. We're going backwards. Noisi mayim bekli suchis nevona. Venoisam b'chamak she'Hashem cham me'oy v'asuchim utzia shel heves. ומביא נאורס ומגיע מסחוחיס ובוירס כך שמעתי ופיוט יויצר שיוסד איך מגויני לומברדיה. I mean, that's all. They take over there like when we were kids, we used to do it. Magdalene, you magnify a glass and you try to burn a paper. Or there was quite cruel kids that used to try to burn the ants. But yeah, it's yeah. So as we said, often time blue slug glass, you see that you come into mamish very, very hot, right? You go on the roof and you have over there the right, and then they're gonna be very hot to come to roast on it. So the Gemara. Omar Rav Yehuda. Let's turn the page. Oichlei beima. Ein bohem mishum tikun kli. What that means? Log Rashi. Kegoin kash ve'ali konim. Ein bohem mishum tikun kli. Umut o liktoim letakin kash and shibonim b'shabbos lachtut shino. I mean that's right. People eat beima, they eat meat. So he's coming and taking over their kash alikonim that they are oichle beima, right? That is food of the beima, kash and alikonim. He's taking it to come and to use it as a toothpick. The rest of the eitzim is considered a tikun kli, and over here is not called a tikun kli. Why? Because anything what's roy lemachal beima, it doesn't have on it a shem kli. As I get the Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah says, what's the reason? The Rashi over here doesn't bring the reason, but the Mishnah Berurah says the reason is anything what's roy lemachal beima, Mishnah of them a shem kli. Frag die Gemara, Eise vei. Rav Kahana and Rav Yehuda. Aber Beitza, we learned in the Beitza, metaltelin atzi besomim lehariach bohem and lehoniv bohem lechoile. The comment you take over there a little bit the besomim, the mint or whatever it is, the besomim, and you're coming and doing from another a little bit like a fan. Umoileloi, that means he takes over there this branch of besomim between his fingers and he's rubbing it to come and take out the smell. Umeriach boy. Aber that means you don't come and break it to come to smell the place that you broke it. Why? Because it's a gzeira. The gzeira is maybe he's going to come and break it in order to come and do a toothpick. And this is also midoraisa because he's doing over here a kli. That's the reason. Vehim kotmoy. That means if he actually kotmoy, why broke it? Small branch, but not for coming and doing a toothpick. His intention was Leoriach boy, have a good smell. That's bottle. Yeah, it's not detaching it from the karka. This is what he plush he was talking about. Yeah, if it's from the karka, for sure it's going to be awesome. It's talking about enough, a branch over there of mint or any samim that has a good smell, and he's rosemary or whatever it is, and he's coming and breaking it, right? It's a small twig to come and have a good smell. But then he's going to be bottle. Why? Because we don't like it. It's not awesome. Aval also, you shouldn't do so. Me the rabbanon, because you might come and do it for chatzitzes shino, and that's the reason that you shouldn't do it. Zog the Gemara weiter. Lafte shino lo iktamenu veikotmoy, and if he did actually on the lafte shino chayev chatos. Why? Because he done over a kli. It's a makbeh party. He done a kli. Now what's shver? Shver of Rav Yehuda. Because the Beitza is talking about atzi besomim, right? That over there some of them are oichle beima. And afal pikein, what do we see over here? That even if it's oichle beima, even if it's a machal beima, we said that what? If he was metaken, it's going to be chayev. Omar lei, Rav Kahane, ashte. Now, even if you would find the Beitza, only if it says of there, akoitem atzei v'somim, lachse b'shinov, right? So we will say, potu avalosu, kokasheni. Why? It's shver this Beitza, because it's a steer on what I said, because I was matir lekatchile. So even if you're going to come and tell me that potu avalosu was also a shaila on me, because I said that lekatchile. But now that you find the Beitza state over here, even more state. What state? Not only potu avalosu, state before chayev chatos. For sure that this is a pirche on what I said. Elo, Obel. I have a pirche on what I said, so why not? Kitanyai, what we learned in the Beitza that you bought, that you see over there is chayev chatos, that's right, akoitem atzi b'somim is chayev chatos. It's talking about bekoshim. It's talking about dafke, which type of atzi b'somim? And they are not roi lemachal beima. What I was matir, to be koitem alekanim and alei kash, is dafke talking about they are soft, they are rakim, and they are roi lemachal beima. What we're talking about over here, they are not talking about the so, and that's why Rabbi Yehuda says in the Beitza, it's talking about the koshim. And the Beitza is talking about koshim, and Rabbi Yehuda is talking about rakim. How can you come and say that this, Rabbi Yehuda says that this Beitza, what says chayev chatos, is talking about the koshim? Moilel atzei b'somim, right? How can you be moilel when it's talking about koshim? Yeah, finding more koshim b'nei melile ninu, not b'nei melinu. Must be that the Beitza is talking about also rakim, that they are b'nei melile and they're roile machal beime. And back the shaila on Rabbi Yehuda, why is chayev chatos by doing over there ktime, by coming and taking off of bronze? And for the Gemara, we're going to have to add a few words in the Beitza. Moileloi umeriach boy, and also kotmoy umeriach boy, right? Or even come and choytezoi ben shino. But med more that you're allowed to do the ktime berakin. Why? Because it's machal beime. Avol bekoshin that they are not roile machal beime. Lo iktemenu, not to be mariach. Veikotmoy potur avoloso. And if he done it lachtus by shino, lo iktemenu. But if he caught moi chayav chatos, now it's vereinfert the shaila on Rabbi Yehuda. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna stop over here, even it's in the middle of the sugya, but we're gonna stop over here by Tanechode. It's a little bit late, and not Hashem, we're gonna continue tomorrow. Yeah. Now let's go back to all the questions we had beforehand. Tomorrow quarter to 9, yeah, regular. Anaya's man. Yeah. You're welcome.
So egg, egg, which is somebody shechts chicken and finds an egg on Yontif. If the egg is complete, it's called noilet.
No, this we saw it in the beginning of the Masechet, that this is actually called
it's not noilet.
Right. This is called noilet because
I also thought it's not noilet.
That just mentioned because of Neme'ayim that he had in mind before, a day before, that when it comes Yontef, he's going to open and use it for the fire. It's not called. It's already dealing with the muktzah part of it. It's not hard to say noilet l'mais, not b'nei me'ayim.
The b'nei me'ayim, when he came, no, because he knew from lekatchila that masrach. That's what the Gemara says.
No, yeah, but it's not noilet. Masrach knows what it is. Is it not noilet shech b'chlal? Is it shech noilet there? No.
Whereby masrach?
B'nei me'ayim. No, it wasn't there before Yontef. He wants to use something for the fire. And he said once he's got in mind, Memele is not muktzah anymore. And it's
no, this is part of the behemoth. This is part of the behemoth.
Egg is also part of the chicken. No?
We have a svara to come say if he could have come and shechted erev. We said in the beginning of Masechet, if he could have come and shechted erev Yom Tov, and then he would have the
Egg.
yeah.
So it won't be muktzeh, it won't be noiled.
Yeah. So if you know what, let's see the Toises. We look at Toises, the Mamas is Shodem Me'eyo Leshunre. If you look at Toises sagt Azoi, Pirash Rashi.
Where stop?
Lamed Gimel Lamed Aleph.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we're speaking about now, yeah? Shodem Me'eyo Leshunre. Pirash Rashi, the Rabude Ave Osu, Letaltelon Liten Lechatul, Met Moin Muchel Odom Ave Veloi Leklovin. Omar Rabude, ואם לא יויסון נבי לא מערב יום טוב, אסור ליטל לכלבים, וגם אינו ירוי ליטל לאודום, לפי שאין דרך בני אודום, לאכול פני מים ביום טוב, ולאו יש להם הרבה לאכול. איתוי מערבכים, משום שאינו יאכל בהן אב ומוקצין, אם כן, איכה מטלטין בוסר חי, וחזיה לוחוס, that means you can come and do ksiса, to eat it even raw. מסכת שבס, או אינו יאכל בהן, משום שיש להם הרבה לאכול, ושתוי מעד, מה שכבר הסריחו, ולאחוז לאודום לרב יהודה או אסור, ושנה כמן המסריחי כלום הכמן, ובאדם מסריחי דעשיני להסריח דייתו לכלבים. What do we see over in Toises? So Toises בעצם have over here a shaila, yeah. Toises over here come and say, we saw Toises said that because it was Masriach, that's why it's not going to be Chazel Adam, it's going to be also. The Rashba, the fact of Toises, what we know from something that we learned already in Masechet Shabbos, from Gareinei Tmorim, right? We know Gareinei Tmorim, the pips of the dates. The Moshe says, "Afilu daitoi me'emesh." Even if he had the das for him from last night to eat the tmorim, and to come and once he's eating the tmorim, we learned already in the Gemara Shabbat Choftas Amedalev. Also, we learned, we also mentioned, So he wants now to come take the pips and for hasoka, to burn it. It's going to be awesome. The choyref havos nicht. The fitois should be mutar. As I like the Rashba. The feed the toys we just saw now, what we just read now inside the Shodim Me'eyo Leshun. I think the Rashba, Garinei Tmorim. If it's Daitoi Me'emesh, you already knew, and the Toys says because Daitoi Me'emesh that it's going to be Masriach, maybe it's mutar. You see Garinei Tmorim, the pips of the dates. That even if Daitoi Me'emesh, you could not come and use it last soccer. Zog the Rashba, there's a difference between the
Masriach.
It's a big small. But again, because Daito Me'etmol, forget about
Masriach. Is it Daito, but the Masriach needs a Daito and Masriach. Why did the Masriach?
And that's going to answer your shaila also, what you were asking about Noilan. Because says the Rashba is different than the Gar'inim, till I eating them, I mean the dates, till I don't eat the dates, I need the Gar'inim, I need the pips for the, right? I need it for the Tmorim. Why? Because if you take a tamar without the garin, it goes off much quicker. If they are left in the goof, the shchita, they'll mekalkel the basal. And that's the reason that's daita me'etmoil, so very good, it's going to be called achona. The Rao is not masking with it. The Rao reflect that you see that even the Sufla Gemara says over there that Me'et Moin Daita Lele Beima we call Makoim it's Mispatel Agav the Oichel and it's we are machshim it Keilu the whole thing of person. It's not considered Achona for Beima, but over here it's not the same thing. It's because it's part of the Beima. It's Oimid Leklovim and Daita Me'et Moil and it's because it's Daita Me'et Moil, so it's going to help. Daita Me'et Moil, so it's going to help. Yeah.
So much my Toises is Masriach. Because you know it's going to be Masriach. It's making itself for the behemoth type of thing. In addition, it's not just that the odom. The food itself becomes a macha behemoth. Otherwise, it's Masriach. It's Masriach. You don't. Why do you come out Masriach? If you die to a klov, you die to a klov. Yeah.
Daita leklovim.
It's daita leklovim. You don't need the masriach part because it's a oichel klovim and you can use it. So it's muchen. But mashma toys that you need that by itself is not enough because it's masriach. That's why it helps daita. It's mashma the thing itself becomes a muchen type of thing. It's not just a daita. And other things is just daita. Just daita that is not good enough.
If it's just daito, it's
כיוון דבד עתידים להסריח.
yeah. Another one thing what I saw, where was it? I saw the Shantir gave one of these papers. Okay, I don't have it in front of me, but okay. It was over here yesterday. Anyway, it said that they're very interesting discussion. He speaks about it comes in the Gemara because the words of what we learned in the Mishnah, Ein Moitzin, Sa'ur Loi Mino Eitzim. So he speaks about coming and Chashmal, electricity on Yom Tov. So, right, today we all know that the same, like you're not allowed to come and switch on the light on Shabbos, the same thing you can't do it on Yom Tov. Why not? Why not? What happens over here? Why Bechlal to come in the electricity, why it's also on Yom Tov and why it's also on Shabbos? If it's fire, Yom Tov you're allowed to light the fire, right? So it should be the same thing. Now the Gemara comes and says over here that someone who's lighting a fire on Yom Tov is moilid, right? Moilid. Chachamim asked to do something that is moilid, right? Rashi comes and says over here because he's moilid. The Gemara also says the kamoilid. You see the Gemara also. The Rashi says the kamoilid. So Arav Waldenberg and Chubas and Tzitz Eliezer in Chelik Aleph Perek Chof, he brings over there comes and brings about electricity. He says coming and lighting electricity on Yom Tov. He says that over 100 years ago, there's some Utaina that you're allowed to come and light. You're allowed to come into any circuit on Yom Tov. Why? He says because they didn't understand it. Lefi what they understood then, there was mutter because he says the zerem chashmal. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, it's in all of that's always in the
current. The current is
the cables and the cables and the cables. Yeah, and this it just wants to come and to get out, and that's why someone to come and just moves the button or whatever it is. He's not doing anything. He's not moilid. He's just allowing the electricity to run through, to go out. And that's why they wanted to come and say he's not moilid. If you look at the cable has in it like ke'ilu fire. And by coming and pressing over there, just you coming and taking the metag, yeah, and switching on and off, you're not actually doing moilid. There is over there the electricity the whole time is trying to get out, and just by letting it go through, you're not moilid. But he said that's not true because the emes is by coming and putting the button wherever it is, yeah, you're doing over there a connection between the positive and the negative, and then it's sent over there the electricity to the cables, and someone is just moving. That is actually called moilid. Chutz in that, we have to mention the Chazon Ish. What's a big chiddush the Chazon Ish, and nishtabu arbe kul meis nishtabu on this Chazon Ish. Whether you look at the many kovtzi what came out of this Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish is a famous Chazon Ish in Arachaim Simen Nun. Sivkot Tes. What the Chazon Ish says that zgirat ma'agal chashmali, that means to do the circuit, is meleches poina. No. He says not because of moilid, then it's going to be also on Yom Tov, on Shabbos, because point is also anyway. It's going to be anyway. It's going to be awesome. Fine. Say the go.
I remember hearing once that it's inevitable. Every connecting to positive and negative, you create whilst it's happening. It's in a very small way. Is a spark. The spark coming through. And that spark is a moilid of the spark.
The spark is something new, and that's a moilid.
Yeah, that's a moilid of the spark. Because you take two lights coming, there's a small spark coming that minute when they connect. But what we learned here in Be'emen Me'ayim, the Yontef, it's only if it was making the Be'emen before Yontef for that. If you decide on Yontef to cut the Be'emen, it doesn't help. If on Yontef suddenly changes he had a new machshava to cut himself, bo'ochim, and he wants to take another behemoth to shecht, he can't use that me'ayim. It doesn't say it in the Gemara, but as it does say, if all what he's relying on that me'etmol, it has to be a behemoth that he was put aside for shechting. But if he decides on another behemoth or new behemoth, it won't work. Or we say no. It's all oimdim. It's like asidim, dogim. If it's in a stable, each one of them potentially could be geshechten, and it's subconsciously muchen. Each one of them is muchen already today. Whoever is going to do it, the asidim, like the Rashi asidim dogim. We go back to that idea. We have to always go back to that idea of asidim. It doesn't have to be a chol. It doesn't have to be. If it's within reach of yours, and you don't have seder, you don't need to have specific
So
mind.
we're going back to the yes. Yeah. If you have to have in mind or not. So lichoire, no, because that's not called maksimidaitoi. The vote is maksimidaitoi. It's not maksimidaitoi.
Yeah, so it doesn't say that. So you can take anyone from this table. Even if you thought of one, you can change to another one because they're all potentially mucher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah. So but just the last thing again, not la halacha, just as an interesting discussion. Can you light a match on Yom Tov? So actually, there is a Sholom Meishiv. The Sholom Meishiv in Siman Samach Beis wants to be matir. Why? Because he says the potential in this powder, what they have on the match, the powder, the avak serfa, that's already considered fire. That's already considered eish. So it's not talking about over here you're actually having a moili, the new eish. Just your moitzim in a koyach el apoyal, the eish that's already existing over there in the koyach of the match. But we don't pass that. Sorry, yeah, big chiddush.
The Metzias is a big chiddush.
The for sure already the Ksav Sofer, Samach Zayin, Mamish, the Aser, the many poskim the Aser to come to light a match on Yom Tov because the potential of the fire is not considered is fire, right? It's potential, beseder. By coming and lighting a match, there's the Isur of Hoylode, it's Moili, the new fire on Yom Tov. And more than that, the Aruch HaShulchan, Rav Epstein, when he comes and says in Siman Tov base, he says that about 2 generations before him, they started to use the matches. And he says that the minhag olam was that they touch the top of the match, right? Straight away when they light the match. He says, why it's going to be mutter? So he says because he heard that in his childhood he heard that the Psagot was matir. That's why, because the fire when you light over there on the mat doesn't come out from the powder, it comes out from the gacheles. That means it's not called a new fire. Just what? It's a avore of fire that's existing from the gacheles to the match. But he says that this is something that you need to prove because the fire actually comes from the gacheles to the match, but it doesn't come out as a new fire from the powder that's there in the match. Okay, so he goes into this about the matches. It's going to be mutar. So again, Iyasar Asas, as you look over there, Ayin in the Baal Aruch HaShulchan, Siman Tov Kuf Beis Seiv Vav. Fine. I go to Shkoyach and have a nice day.